Hi, Peace with Endo community. How are you tonight? Thanks for taking the time to watch the replay of this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I do check back on those when I'm done. If you are new to the page, my name is Aubrey Daimler. I am an author and wellness coach who helps women with endometriosis to naturally manage pain, increase energy, and find peace with endo. So I wanted to pop on tonight and share some tips with you on cleaning up what touches your skin, which is a big factor when it comes to healing from chronic illness, especially endometriosis. So if you caught the podcast that dropped earlier this week, I chatted with Chris Sampson, and I connected with Chris through IIN. She's a fellow health coach, and she helps women with breast cancer specifically. She's a breast cancer survivor, and she helps coach women through nutrition and lifestyle changes to help them through that process. So if you caught the podcast earlier this week, if you haven't taken a listen to it yet, go ahead and check it out over at peacewithendo.com. But one thing that we talked quite a bit about was the impact of toxins, specifically in her case, coming in contact with toxins and how that impacts the whole cancer story. But I wanted to chat a little bit in continuation of this in reference to endometriosis and the changes that I've personally made over the years to help clean up what comes in contact with my skin. So if you are watching me live, go ahead and say hi. I love to know who's here. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and type replay in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. So the first thing that I've made changes with has been my soap products. So if you think about every time you wash your hands or when you take a shower, and maybe you're using body wash or all of those sorts of things when it comes to soap. So I've switched to Dr. Bronner's. Dr. Bronner's makes Castile soap, which is a natural soap. I think one of the main ingredients is coconut oil. It's got olive oil, eucalyptus oil, depending on which flavor you get. Hey Andrea, thanks for watching. So you can find Dr. Bronner's. I usually get this from my local health food store. A lot of places carry this here in the US. So this works as just a nice overall kind of soap. So I use this again for washing my hands. I put it in like those foaming dispensers. If you add a little water to it, then it makes like a nice foaming soap. Or I use it as body wash in the shower, and I also use it to clean my dishes. So it works good for cutting grease on your dishes. I haven't actually used it like in the dishwasher, but I think you can. That's not something I've experimented with, but I use it just to clean off my dishes and pans. So it works really good at cutting through grease, and then it works really good for cleaning up your skin as well. So that's my number one thing that I've switched, because if you think about how often you wash your hands through the day, even that starts to add up. So again, you can get that at most of the local health food stores here in the US carry this. You can find other brands of Castile soap if you can't get Dr. Bronner's. I know that it's available also on Amazon, which I can drop a link to that. So that's really the first thing that I've changed. I've also changed my lotions. So I love 100% Pure. If you haven't checked them out at 100%pure.com, all of their stuff is, like the name says, 100% pure. They use natural ingredients. A lot of them are organic. It's not fully organic, but I like the body butter. So I use this on my hands, especially now that it's getting colder here and it's dry. This stuff's a little bit thicker, so it works good for hand cream. I use it throughout my body as well. But they have other lotions. I just like the body butter because it's thicker and it absorbs better in that sense, so it's more moisturizing. I also use their shampoo. I use like the kelp and mint volumizing stuff. I actually switch this up ever so often. They have different flavors of coconut and different smelling kind of stuff. But I like the kelp and mint, the volumizing one. They also have a conditioner. So 100% Pure also has makeup. They've got a full line of beauty products that, like the name says, again, is 100% pure. So I can drop a link to that as well in the comments. If you have changed your beauty products, if you found something that you like, please let us know what works for you in the comments. Always open to other suggestions. If you found a good natural makeup company or lotion or anything like that, share with us in the comments what's worked for you. But I love 100% Pure. Like I said, I use their makeup. I use most of their stuff. So that's the second thing. Another thing to consider when it comes to toxins, specifically with endometriosis, are what you're using when it comes to your menstrual stuff. If you're using pads or tampons or whatever you're using during your period, that area of your body is very vulnerable, right? And especially when it comes to endometriosis. So the pads, a lot of the conventional pads and tampons out there are toxic. Like they're sprayed with chemicals, and it's not really what you want to be putting right up in there, right? Where, you know, that's kind of more where the endo is going to be concentrated down in that area. And as you're having pain, perhaps with your period, it does help to switch out what you're using for during that time. So I use a company here in the US called NatraCare. They make organic cotton pads and tampons, and they have different levels. You know, if you have a heavy flow or a light flow, they have panty liners, and they also sell tampons. I know a lot of ladies I've chatted with also like to use the cups, like the reusable cups. There's also natural reusable pads that you can use. There's organic ones out there now. I know that's a big thing. So if you have found something, again, that works for you, something that's more natural when it comes to your menstrual products, please let us know in the comments, especially if you're outside of the US, because I can only recommend what I know here in the US. So if you're outside and you found something that's good, please let us know in the comments. So that's the third thing that I've changed up. And you know, I felt a difference with that pretty quickly. I wasn't aware of how those old conventional pads I was using all the time were impacting how I felt during my period. So definitely something to switch up if you haven't already. And then the fourth and final thing I've got for you today just comes to overall cleaning. So if you think about cleaning up your home, there's a lot of chemicals in conventional cleaning products, which again on the podcast me and Chris talked a lot about. And one thing that I like to use just overall is just essential oil. So I actually use lemongrass. You can also use just straight up lemon. So I like doTERRA lemongrass oil. Lemongrass, you just put a couple of drops into like a squirt bottle with some water, and it works great to I use it in my bathroom, and it cuts right through like soap scum, or I use it in my kitchen to clean up like the stove and grease and whatever has splattered around. So the lemongrass actually works really good. It's naturally antibacterial, so it's cutting through the bad stuff. Again, you can also use lemon, works good too. Straight up white vinegar also works good as a cleaning agent, or apple cider vinegar. Either one of those choices too. So just put it in a regular squirt bottle and dilute it with some water, and that works great to use as a natural cleaner. So just to review, the 4 things that I've switched up that have helped reduce toxins that come in contact with your skin. The first thing is Castile soap. So I buy this big thing from Dr. Bronner's. You can mix this, again, dilute it with some water, and this works great for body soap and any kind of your soap needs, cleaning your dishes. The second thing is cleaning up all your beauty products, you know, your lotions, your shampoos, anything that comes in contact with your skin. So I love 100% Pure. I use their body butter and their shampoo. Changing up your menstrual pads, again, anything that's not gonna have toxins in it. I like NatraCare, but there's a lot of options out there now that don't have the toxins. And then cleaning up your cleaning products. So using essential oil, I like lemongrass or lemon. You can use vinegar. Again, there's a lot of choices out there. So just be aware of what's coming in contact with your skin. Your skin absorbs everything within 60 seconds. It's absorbing all of those toxins. And if you're consistently putting things on your skin every day, it's something to be aware of. So awareness really is the first step. So make sure you're checking out your beauty labels, looking to see what's inside of them. And if you don't know what it is, then it's probably not a good thing to put on your skin. So the recommendation that I've heard throughout this journey is don't put anything on your skin that you wouldn't put in your mouth. So that's a good rule of thumb to go by. And the first step to that is really having awareness. I know that this can feel overwhelming, especially if you're starting out on this natural journey. So making small steps, doing what you can here and there to switch up these products goes a long way. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this today. I hope that this helped you. I will go ahead and drop links to the products that I recommended in the comments below if you want to check them out further. And if you do need any further assistance on your journey to healing, I am here for you. I do offer one-on-one sessions. So if you want to book 60 minutes with me to ask whatever you want to ask me, or if you need help and guidance and direction, or just somebody with a compassionate ear to listen to you, go ahead and book me. You can hit the book me button at the top of the main page here, or you can check me out more at peacewithendo.com. So I hope that this was helpful tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. If you did find it helpful, I invite you to share with your friends, tag somebody in the comments who you feel this video would serve. Drop me some hearts. And if you want to catch me next time when I'm live, go ahead and hit the little buttons at the top of the video and you can get live notifications. But thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this today, and I hope it inspires you to start cleaning up what comes in contact with your skin. So, I'm sending you all love, and we will chat soon. Bye for now.